Hey, this is Chris, keeping it real, facts over fear. This is just another one of those rambling videos, I'm afraid, but just going over some salient facts regarding the coronavirus, COVID-19. Now, the first salient fact, and the most important, is that in North Carolina, the 14-day rolling average of daily cases is down below 500, which is lower than it's been in over a year. And so that's good, and it's especially good considering that there's no real mask requirement. You're supposed to wear a mask. Of course, we all know how I feel about masks, so I don't. Last year the mask requirement was instituted, and the cases just continued to climb, and so it's like, well, if you're looking at real life, real world circumstances, I would have to conclude that masks really don't do any good, just from that standpoint alone. So here we are. We've opened up everything. We do have about 40% of the adult population vaccinated, and so that, of course, is going to slow things down a little bit, but that does still leave over 6 million people that are possible carriers of coronavirus. That's still a substantial number of people. And so what's the end game here? And I guess I'm just going to leap right to the end. I think the end game is that coronavirus is going to be something that's going to be around forever. And I think at some point everyone is going to just learn to live with it. I think we will see a chronic daily case number of 50 or 100 cases a day. Not enough to really get up in arms about it. I think it's just that kind of disease that we're not going to ever get rid of it, because of course they say we're getting new variants, and the new variants are always worse than the original one was, which it cannot be substantiated as of yet, because they don't have circulated enough yet to find out really anything about them. The one good thing about it, though, is that in terms of variants, the good news is that this virus has been around for now 18 months, and we're only up to, I think, 12 major variants. And so that's not a very fast mutation rate, in my mind anyway. And so with people getting vaccinated, I do believe the mutation rate will decrease. And I also believe that if you believe in natural selection, and I do to a limited extent, except I don't believe it causes the creation of new species, but I can understand that. Oh my goodness! I can understand that these viruses do change. It's still the same virus, but they change under environmental pressure. And so it seems to me that, unlike, say, a tiger or a lion or a wolf or some other, something that kills other things, where being a more effective hunter makes you more successful. A virus is the opposite, really, if you think about it. If you think about the continuation of a viral species, or it's not even really a species, is it? Because it's just an RNA. But, bird's got a snake. That was a hawk. That was kind of neat. Not neat for the snake, though. If you think about it, the environmental pressure will be to lessen the deadliness of the virus, because if the virus simply gets people sick but doesn't kill them, then it has a greater opportunity to spread. And so those variants that do that will have more success in the environment than those who simply kill their host. And so I don't see. And so far, this has been borne out. You know, we hear talk about variants, and we hear talk about how they're more contagious, but we don't hear. What we're not hearing is that they're more deadly. And so that's kind of what I'm basing everything what I'm saying on. Is that's what I think. I think that's eventually what's going to happen. I think it's going to become weaker and weaker. Not that it couldn't come back later and become more deadly again. I mean, anything's possible, but before all of that happens, we have to get to the point where we have a variant that's so different from the original that the vaccines are ineffective, and we are way short of that mark. I think the most concerning one right now is Delta, number 4, and the vaccine is still, the Pfizer vaccine is still like 88% effective instead of 93%. So that's pretty good. And that just shows that for all the variation, they're not varying that much. I mean, as long as it's got that spike protein, then the body will recognize it and ramp up the immune system real quick, because it's been vaccinated. Because the body's been vaccinated, it ramps up those, whatever it does, very quickly. So those are my 2 cents. I think that's what we'll end up with. I think we'll end up with just, it's going to be like a lot of other causes of death in the United States that we just come to tolerate, because there really is no choice in the matter. I mean, we can't pretend like, we're not the masters of the universe. We don't know everything. In fact, the current state of medicine in this country, it pretty much proves that we're not in Stone Ages or anything, but we're not doing anything. We're just, we're not causing, we give somebody a vaccine and we say, oh, that's going to work. It's the vaccine to know. The human body is what works. We're just giving the human body a chance to build up its own defenses against something specific. We're not really doing anything proactive as far as, well, I'm going to give you this injection, and this injection is going to kill the virus. No, that's not how it works. It's not like giving somebody a shot of penicillin, and the penicillin gets in the body and kills all the bacteria, and then you get better. So when we get to that point with viral infections, then we'll have something. But there's something about viruses that's different than bacteria. I have no idea what it is, and they don't behave the same way. So we've got a long way to go, a really long way to go, and I think that's why it's just going to be kind of, we're going to get to a point where everybody's going to say, well, that's just the way things are, until medicine comes up with something better. Until science comes up with something better, that's the way it's going to be. And I'm going to stick by that prognostication. Still looking for herd immunity, although it's looking less likely by July 4th. If the daily case count does fall to about 100, I'm going to declare victory and go home. I'm going to take my ball and go home. If it doesn't, then we'll have to think about why it isn't. But there's a lot of resistance. Maybe that's another video. Let's do another video. So, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate what you do. We'll see you on the next